Hey, good afternoon. I'm Dallas Barber with I-68 Ministries. I wanted to read today and talk just a little bit about, it's in James chapter 3. It's the untamable tongue. It says, "My brethren, let not many of you become teachers, knowing that we shall receive a stricter judgment. For we all stumble in many things. If anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Indeed, we put bits in horses' mouths that they may obey us, and we turn their whole body. Look also at ships, although they are so large and are driven by fierce winds, they are turned by a very small rudder, wherever the pilot desires. Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. See how great a forest a little fire kindles. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. The tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire by hell. For every kind of beast and bird or reptile and creature of the sea is tamed and has been tamed by mankind. But no man can tame the tongue. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless our God and Father, and with it we curse men, who have been made in the image of God. Out of the same mouth proceed blessings and curses. My brothers, these things ought not to be so. Does a spring send forth fresh water and bitter from the same opening? Can a fig tree bear olives, or a grapevine bear figs? Thus no spring yields both salt water and fresh." And so, as I'm thinking about that, I know it's a simple truth that most of us know, but it's something that's so hard to put into practice sometimes. And I think that we forget both the blessings and curses that our tongue can um, produce when it's left unchecked. When it's left unchecked, it does start those fires, fires of offense, fires of hurt. Our words can literally tear people down and destroy people, destroy their identity, um, their confidence, destroy relationships. But if we use those words in a positive way, we can speak life into people. And that's what we're called to do, is to speak life into people and to speak God's truth over those people, not the evidence of the circumstances, but God's truth. And there's a difference. In James 1, verse 19, it says, "So then, my beloved brothers, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man does not produce the righteousness of God." So when we react quickly, we speak quickly, we tend to produce wrath because we're not listening. We're not slowing down to listen and speak. He says, be swift to hear and slow to speak. So we need to be listening at all times, and listening for the truth of what's being said, not just the perception that we may get from a conversation or from words. And when things appear to not be in our favor, not to speak out of emotion or quickly out of rash behavior, because that does lead to it leads to wrath, and wrath leads to destruction and offense. And we need to be more conscientious of that. There's, let's see, one more verse that I wanted to read. Yeah, it says, "May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing to you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life. Amen. And so that's Psalms 19, verse 14, and also 139, verses 23 through 24, and kind of combine them a little bit. But that should be our heart's cry, that our mouth and the meditation of our heart would be pleasing to the Lord. When we start thinking about the power in our tongue and the words that we say, there's a few things that we need to be conscientious of. And the first is that God will hold us accountable for the words that we speak, whether for good or for ill. Jesus warns us to be careful. And that's what James 3:1 is talking about. To be careful what they say, because God will judge them strictly, especially so for teachers. And so that doesn't mean that everyone else gets a free pass. It just means that actually in Matthew 12:36, it tells us that we are held accountable for every, for every idle word that we speak. So every word that we speak, we will be held accountable for. So when we speak, we have to be conscientious of the fact that God will hold us accountable for those words. We also have to believe that and understand that our words create an impact that can be much greater than what we intend for it to be, or much greater than even what we expect it to be. We could say one small thing and not think much of it, but without giving it careful thought as to how it might impact others, it could blow things out of proportion. And like I said before, really damage relationships and just damage people in general. And I think the other thing that's important to remember, especially as we start to walk out our Christian faith before others, other people look to see what we're doing, how we're doing it, and they're watching to see how we respond. And so our words need to be in alignment with our testimony. In other words, our Christian walk should not just be reflected in just the things that we do, but also in the words that we say, and that they should be in alignment with one another, that our words and actions should be in alignment. And that's what produces fruit in relationship. It produces, honestly, it's how we become peacemakers, and it's how we represent Jesus to others. If we're serving someone, and that's a good thing, but we're not using our words to edify and encourage, but rather to destroy or tear down, well, obviously that's a contradiction. And that's what James is trying to tell us. Like, be careful, because the words that we speak can have a profound impact on people, whether we realize it or not. And so we need to be intentional as followers of Christ, to be intentional to use words in such a way that we build people up, that we don't tear them down.